this month we are looking at the theme of education and continuous improvement. So today's theme in that vein is truth always rises to the top. So we're going to explore today the T with the capital T and how the T with the little t can get in our way. It's sort of like how the self with the capital S is our guide and how the self with the little s keeps us smaller. You remember what Marianne Williamson wrote and Nelson Mandela said in his inauguration, it's not the dark, but the light, our light, that frightens us. It's not our dark, it's our light. But once you start playing in the light, it gets easier. Just imagine you're a sunflower and you're turning towards the sun. They like it. We can too. So this thing about continuous improvement, the spiritual journey maybe pure enlightenment is a destination. But for most of us, it's a journey of discovery, as it says in our vision statement. It's not a journey of proving over and over and over again what we know in the same old way. It's a journey of stretching what we know in new and innovative ways. And that's the whole deal. It's like there is so much more than we will ever know. Why settle for just the little bit we've got handled? Why not just, stretch it out and experience more? So the principle, as you know, we do a principle, and then we do a practice to how to bring that principle integrated into our life. So the principle is, truth is, and it rises to the top if we let it. And the practice is, we must come to see who we truly are, how we're showing up, how we're presenting, and what is our manifestation level of that truth? And then that's the slippery slope, because the spiritual journey must begin with self-awareness. If I say I believe this, but I practice that, what's really going on? I'm believing in this capital T truth that says love is, I am. But in my little self, I can have a whole different story going on about that. And that little story could be something like, well, sure, love is, and it's fine for them. But, I was raised like this, and we didn't learn about that. And because of that, I can't, and blah, blah, blah. And we take our story, and it becomes like the coat that we wear. Until sometimes we forget we're wearing that coat. And the spiritual journey is that journey. It's been said it's the journey from here to here. But I think we're starting to explore more the realm of feelings and how feelings affect our lives and how we can use them. So I'm thinking of it as the journey from the hell of hopelessness. Hopelessness could have many faces. It could be, I don't know how, or I can't, or there isn't enough, or let me control everything so that I'm safe, or whatever is our particular hell. To the power of possibility, which is when we get the idea that there is more that's possible to us than meets the eye, and more that we have experienced before, somehow we cast our trajectory out there. We code it into our GPS that says we're headed in that direction. And then what does life do? The minute we give it a direction, we're like putting in our order. And it follows. Just, of course, my GPS sometimes takes me on little circuitous routes. I don't know about yours. You're supposed to go there, and it has you turning left and right 3 times. So why not just go straight? But probably because we're that kind of people. Maybe we need to wander a little bit. Moses certainly did, and I hope I don't have to do 40 more years, but, Anyway, it can be messy to face up to ourselves. It can be messy to tell ourselves that, really I'm not being who I was born to be, and I'm not being my very best self. But let me give you some hope about that. The moment the very moment that you are able to do what Rick sang about, to just turn our attention to the love, to the one, whatever word is God for you, or to what Selena prayed about, which is that devotion, that joy that comes from that connection. The moment we do that, and literally this is the gift of spirituality. We don't have to put on our muck boots and get out our shovel and go into the back 40 and spend 10 years back there digging around. We don't have to. That's a perfectly valid way, and that works too. But I prefer the more direct way, which is to immerse myself in enough truth that it begins to kind of sink in, so that I recognize it not just with my head, but the deeper spiritual journey is to recognize it in our heart, and then even in the hair follicles where it meets the skin, and the nails where it lifts off the fingers. You can feel this love because it's in every cell. It's our nature. And when we attend to it, well, there's just nothing that is impossible, really, when we attend to it. And when we don't attend to it, nothing is very easy. And so we live in the most exciting times, which can be described with different adjectives, depending on who you're talking to. Mostly, I hold it as exciting. Last night, as my wonderful, wonderful Pat, who takes care of me, as I walked into the house, I saw someone whose energy was so hard for me, I had to just turn away and just, pretend I wasn't listening and go into my room. And normally, it doesn't do that. Normally, I can hear it, I can see what doesn't work for me, I can feel pain and anger out there, and it doesn't touch me. But for the past couple days, it's gotten in, and I hear it, and I feel it, and it hurts me. And I don't know, I feel like I'm pretty prayed up. But it felt like I was feeling so much pain. And it wasn't just my pain. It was the connection. What we do to one, we do to ourselves. And if it's really true that we're all connected, then that feeling is probably pretty normal. But what we do, I remember when I was a real radical activist, we called it nuclear numbing. We just pretended. I didn't, but I did for a long time until I was pushed out of it. We pretended that everything was fine. It's all fine. No, nothing's going to happen. It's all going to be fine. It's going to just go away. And Ernest Holmes says, treat and tie up your horse. And so it's not enough to just know that this is all God in action, which it is. It's not enough to just know that this is causing a great good. Whatever the pain is in our life is here for our growth, whether it's a loss of a job or loss of a relationship or health or some trust that you had in something or someone. It is here for our good. But actually, we have to be somebody different in order to be able to use it for good. We have to use it consciously. And so that's why I love this phrase from this book that Pat had on her bookshelf. Now it lives wherever I am. And it says, buried feelings don't die. Feelings buried alive don't die. That's the title of the book. Feelings buried alive don't die. And that means that whatever we've buried is still there. And we lead with our feelings whether we know it or not, whether we're in touch with them or not. So if we have unhealed things that have said to us we have to be this way, And so we're containing ourselves with some feeling that isn't warm and fuzzy, then that is affecting our life, whether we know it or not. And if we want to change, it's simply a matter of allowing ourselves to feel the music, feel the prayer, feel the love, look for it, recognize it, and let it become our normal, our home base. And when we do, those old things, if we are willing to let them go, they will go. They will go of their own accord. We don't have to dig them up and have a burial for them. We don't. We can just say thank you and goodbye. Spasiba и пока. So that's what today is really about, because when we pay attention to our feelings, we learn a lot about ourselves. And we all have a wide range of feelings. So Friday night, 12 of us were here watching the movie Invictus, which is, it's the first time I've seen that movie, and I want us all to come and see it again together, because it was so powerful, and it's about so many things that matter to us. It matters to me because it's about leadership. It's about inspired leadership. And that's what I aspire to. I aspire to inspired leadership. And so I have to have continuous improvement. I have to learn and grow so that I can find things that inspire me, so that I can lead from that inspiration instead of the control part of me that says, hey, I've been doing this for 27 years. I know what to do. You hired me. Let me do it. And I do say that from time to time. But really, I want to be more like Nelson Mandela. And he said, we need inspiration to succeed. But where do you find inspiration in a world like what we've got here? Where do you find that inspiration when it looks like hell? And everybody is hating each other. And they're all voicing all those emotions. And how do you do it? And he found a way that was so brilliant. And it took him 27 years of preparation in a cell no wider than that. 27 years. Now, we do not have to do that unless we insist. Because, we create our self-imposed prisons all the time. But we don't have to live there. So he said, we need to expand the expectation of possibilities for ourselves in order to succeed. Well, what in heaven's name do we do here if it's not that? I mean, this is one place where every time you come here, you're going to feel something wonderful. You'll be appreciated. You'll be treasured. You'll be cared about. You'll be hugged. You'll feel safe. You'll feel welcome. You'll feel able to give your gift. I just finished this circulation class, and I collected from the 12 people that finished the class just, 2 sentences. Why did this class make a difference? Oh, my God. If we just show up, and open ourselves just a tiny bit to this infinite life, this goodness, this love that is our nature, and risk letting other people see it by telling the truth about who we are in a setting where we can be held with empathy and compassion and kindness, we can transform. And we are. I'm going to type those things up and give them to everybody who's never taken a class. And just say, hey, wouldn't you love this? So as I was preparing for this talk today, I thought about, and thank you, by the way, for everybody who's written on our colorful tables. It is so great to read your ideas and your thoughts, and we are listening, and I could use a few typists to come in and type them up. and help us order them, and synthesize them and see where the priorities are. And then we're going to do something together about that. But on the Sunday service table over there, the big orange one that sticks out into the lobby, there were 2 or 3 comments about we would like talks that are more funny, more loving, a little lighter, more happier talks. And my first was, I know I can be happy. I mean, I am happy. In fact, I'm so happy. That's why I'm showing up the way I'm showing up, because I am in a groove of love and giving and truth that is so powerful that I know that peace in our lifetime is in our hands, and there is not a thing that can stop us. The moment we believe it, it's happened. Thank you. Yes. And so I know that's true. That's my intention. What is yours? What is your intention? What do you want to do with this infinite life, this power that we've been given to live abundantly and happily? So I figured, oh my gosh, I guess I'm not showing up happy enough or loving enough. I'll bring you some of my inspiration. Since this is what, I was told on Friday night, to find your inspiration and use it. And so thanks to the wizardry of our technical team back here, they manage always to take things and support us with them. So I brought you some of the things that I love. This first one is truly special. Now, you'll never in 100 years guess what this guy's name was. Happy. So Happy was a big, big dog and had long black hair, and he was so happy that I tried to name him several regal names, but it didn't work. And I found him in the forest, and his first little eliminations were pine cones and twigs and moss. He'd been there for a while. He was a little ball of fuzz, but he ended up being this big dog right here. And he went everywhere with me. I had him with me for 7 years until I went to Ukraine. And his job, my very first talk at a church, before I got out of Holmes Institute, my very first talk on the Oakland stage in front of the president of Science of Mind, who was a tough teacher, Margaret Stortz. My first talk was living with the mystic disguised as a dog. And that's Happy. And so you see he has blue in his hair. His hair was so black that it was blue. And so his commitment to me was to remind me all the time, have more fun. Be happy. Have more fun. And so for a long time I wore a big patch of blue right here. And I wore one nail blue. It's a funny nail, but oh well. So that's Happy. Happy still makes me happy. I have his portrait in 2 of my 3 houses. Now I have his picture, so it'll go on the fridge. All right, so then, thank you, my beloved dog. And he made everybody else happy, too. These are my children. Now, they are just amazing. And I am so blessed. They have my back. They know me. They love me. They've come to get over their childhood stuff with me. And we're a unit. And we don't always agree, but whenever you write a list about who can you really count on, I can count on them. I'm so grateful. That's Andrew and Pamela, and each of them has 2 kids. Those things make me happy. This makes me happy. This, what I'm doing here. This is love that has endured the most amazing hardships. Some very, very difficult things. And this is a love, this love that we have is because we are making choices together to grow. And so I love being here, and it makes me really happy. And I see that what I'm doing is making a difference, and it's making a difference in my life, and I know it's making a difference in our life, our community life. And that makes me happy. And that feels like love to me because I'm doing what I'm born to do. And that is really the greatest thing. So there's Science of Mind says that the nature of truth, the nature of authenticity, is a force that will always rise to the top. This truth is exhibited in the natural and the spiritual world. It becomes our task to learn to be this truth within our human life. Community is where we learn and practice and give thanks for this truth and the good that it brings us, as we learn to see through new eyes. So I thought I'd bring a joke. Maybe that would be happy. Actually, I know one joke without any paper. I know one really good joke, and I've learned to say it in 2 or 3 different languages. But in English, it goes like this. There was a farmer over near Logan somewhere out there, far away from here, and had big silos and had lots of dairy cattle. No, I think they were heifers. They were meat cattle. Anyway, they were there, and there were a lot of them. And this farmer was very devout in his particular faith. I'm not sure what it was, but we can imagine. And so there he was, a devout farmer, and it's Sunday morning. And he's getting ready to go to church, and it was the weather like we had 3 or 4 days ago. Snowy, icy, should have been warm and sunny. It almost was, and it collapsed and into snow again. And the farmer was, when is it going to stop snowing? I need to get my work done, and the cows are tired. And anyway, so he's off. He's on his way to his car to head to his church. And he hears this little sound, beep, beep, cheep, 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 cheep. And he goes, what the heck is that? And he finds this little bird on the ground and has a broken wing. And he went, oh my gosh, I can't leave this little bird here. I'm going to be late. What can I do? Scoops up the little bird. He's standing beside a big pile of dung. He scoops out a little hole in the dung. He puts the bird there. It's so cold out. He wanted to keep it warm. He tucked it into this little hole, and it was all covered up. Warm dung, Doesn't smell so great, but it's really warm, and the bird probably didn't care. And maybe there were some bugs there, who knows? And so we put it there, and he was happy, and he felt like he'd done his job. So the bird thought, wow, this is really great. I thought I was going to get eaten down there. Oh, I'm so glad it's warm here. And the bird's happy, and the bird starts whistling away. Oh. And there was another creature on the farm. There was this old fox. And this old fox heard this little bird whistling, and the fox says, I hear a bird. And the fox crept in, and Farmer John wasn't anywhere nearby. And pretty soon, the whistling of the bird draws the fox right there to that pile of dung. And the fox grabbed it and ate it and gave thanks for its morning breakfast. And the moral of the story: those who bury you aren't necessarily your friends. And those who rescue you aren't necessarily your enemies, but they could be. But when you're in dung up to your neck, don't sing about it. And from a child, here's the love story from a child. How many people here are grandparents? Okay, you can relate to this. When my grandmother got arthritis, she couldn't bend over or paint her toenails anymore. So my grandfather has to do it for her all the time. But when his hands got arthritis too, he still did it. That's love, says Rebecca, age 8. So, you'll find love anywhere you look for it. And so I was looking for it online last night. I wasn't looking for love itself. I know where love is. I have never done that. Who said she's not funny? Although I have thought about it, but no. But a lot of my friends have met their partners on dating services, so maybe I should too, but I don't think so. Anyway, I was looking for Brene Brown, and she's just an inspiring person, and she's taught, a lot of her classes are taught in Science of Mind communities, and she talks about this practice of telling yourself the truth in a way that honors and empowers you to grow. So I found some wonderful quotes from her, and then I also found a little YouTube that Raj is going to show us in a minute. But this is for us. It's from her book, Daring Greatly, her first book. And it's a quote from Theodore Roosevelt's speech, Citizenship in a Republic, in 1910. Apropos for us today, perhaps. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done better. No, the credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, or the woman, who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood and tears, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again and again, because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but who actually does the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, great devotions, and who spends herself, himself in worthy causes, who at the best of times knows that in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst of times, if she or he fails, at least they fail while daring greatly. So life is a wonderful challenge. And if we're going to do anything, we ought to do it greatly. So here Brene is talking to us about the importance of giving up blame. This is Lent, you know. We are giving up limited thinking.
How many of you are blamers? How many of you, when something goes wrong, the first thing you want to know is whose fault it is? Hi, my name is Brene. I'm a blamer. Let me just tell you this quick story. So this is a couple years ago when I first realized the magnitude to which I blame. I'm in my house. I have on white slacks and a pink sweater set, and I'm drinking a cup of coffee in my kitchen. It's a full cup of coffee. I drop it on the tile floor. It goes into a million pieces, splashes up all over me. And a millisecond after it hit the floor, right out of my mouth is this: "Damn you, Steve." Who is my husband? Because let me tell you how fast this works for me. So Steve plays water polo with a group of friends. And the night before, he went to go play water polo. And I said, hey, make sure you come back at 10, because I can never fall asleep until you're home. And he got back at 10:30. And so I went to bed a little bit later than I thought. Ergo, my second cup of coffee that I probably would not be having had he come home when we discussed. Therefore, and so the rest of that story is I'm cleaning up the kitchen. Steve calls, caller ID. I'm like, hey. He's like, hey, what's going on, babe? What's going on? So I'll tell you exactly what's going on. I'm cleaning up the coffee that spilled all, like dial tone. Because he knows. How many of you go to that place when something bad happens, the first thing you want to know is whose fault is it? I'd rather it be my fault than no one's fault. Because why? Why? Because it gives us some semblance of control. But here, if you enjoy blaming, this is where you should stick your fingers in your ear and do the na thing, because I'm getting ready to ruin it for you. Because here's what we know from the research. Blame is simply the discharging of discomfort and pain. It has an inverse relationship with accountability. Accountability, by definition, is a vulnerable process. It means me calling you and saying, hey, my feelings were really hurt about this, and talking. It's not blaming. Blaming is simply a way that we discharge anger. People who blame a lot seldom have the tenacity and grit to actually hold people accountable, because we expend all of our energy raging for 15 seconds and figuring out whose fault something is. And blaming is very corrosive in relationships, and it's one of the reasons we miss our opportunities for empathy. Because when something happens and we're hearing a story, we're not really listening. We're in the place where I was, making the connections as quickly as we can about whose fault something was.
So I said it wasn't pretty sometimes, and it isn't. But there is an antidote to that, and that is knowing the truth. So we're coming back to principle. So what is the truth in your life with the capital T? So I invite the practitioners to join me. Anyone who has ever been a practitioner, anyone who's thinking of renewing their license, or someone who's made the commitment to be on the practitioner direction in education and become a practitioner. And together, we're going to take all of the little s and little t stuff, and we're going to put it into the big T and the big S place within us. I promise. So, take a couple of breaths and let go of your resonance with the blame or the pain or the wonder how to do it. And just remember again that there is a divine pattern, that it connects us all, that this pattern is the distribution system for the infinite presence that is only love. This love, these things that make us happy, are the ways we connect with our divine presence, the source of all life. There's no otherness in life, really, even though we sometimes think so. And so, in this moment, speaking for myself and inviting all of you who care to join me, I allow myself to feel the inspiration that Spirit is as I surrender my fear and my worry and sincerely and authentically say, show me the way. Show me the way to live in such a sacred space. Show me the way to live in that holy place within myself, that I no longer look for whose fault anything is, or to hide my mistakes or my imperfections, that I am learning to let the love that is my nature support me to tell the truth. I don't know what to do, or I need your help, or I'm afraid, or I am ready. Could you take the first step with me? So I know that this infinite love is all that there is, that it is perfect, and that it is in each of us, and that we feel it, and we allow ourselves right now to just check in to that love. You can use your breath. You can bring into your mind someone who you treasure beyond imagination, or the feeling of support when you know that there is a power and a presence, and it is always for you, and it has your back and your front and your sides, inside and out. Or maybe it's a rose or a redwood tree, or maybe the face of your most precious person, or the first time you saw your baby, or the way your grandmother's hands look as they hold yours or held yours, and the contentment on her face or grandfather's face as they looked into you and saw only your perfection. Because no matter what we've done and where we have been, the truth about who we are is that we are the light of life. We are the presence in form. We are the goodness that we yearn for. We are the life that gives it to us, and we are the place that lives this infinite life. We are the holy space. We are the sacred space. And always, this is our truth. And so I surrender anything that has had me play small this week, that has me denied my truth or denied my empathy or my kindness. I release all of those things, and I choose love. I choose peace. I choose to be learning and growing and expanding and risking and changing and transforming my life because I can, because it's what I'm born for, and because this world needs me awake and aware and fully alive. And I know that that's true for everyone here, otherwise we'd be playing golf. Well, not me, I can't stand golf, but I'd be doing something else. But not, I'm here for God. I'm here for me, I'm here for each of us. Blessed be. This is why we're here. Let's feel it. Let's know that. Let's realize, let's value this community and what it gives us so that we take care of it with the best of ourselves. Oh, wow. What a perfect choice to just give our best and allow the best of life to be our experience. And so we say thank you, thank you, thank you, life, for all the good and all the things that brought us to this moment. And we let this love of ours that's in every cell and even in our hair and our nails, and we breathe it, and as we breathe, it goes like a mist and it fills this space and it finds the love in each other, and healing happens here. Healing happens here today. If there is something to be healed, let the love in this space unify with you and let it be done. Let it be done. And so it is.